What is one thing you want people to know about your disability or diagnosis?
I really want people to know that people with disabilities aren't always miserable or incapable. I
Yes.
I spent the majority of my life before this bladder surgery on a mission to show the world that I was happy and could do just about everything that able-bodied people could do. I'll be the first to admit that that led to some pretty bad coping mechanisms when I did start to feel miserable. But like, I was happy before this happened. Like, people with disabilities can be happy, can live full lives. And I don't think that's seen enough.
Yeah.
Um, I will say that, like, I no longer keep it bottled up when I'm unhappy or like when things aren't going well, which I did for the longest time before my current ordeal. Like, I'll be the first to admit when I'm not okay. But like, I was completely happy before this surgery that I had 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
it's possible to be a fully functioning adult with a disability because that was my life before this happened.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes things change us, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that we can't be happy.
Exactly. I was perfectly happy before.
Mhm.
What is a misconception people have of your disability or diagnosis?
um that that kind of plays into the last question, that we're incapable of doing some of the many of the things that other people, that able-bodied people can do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, my biggest thing was I had a job before my medical crisis happened.
Yeah.
Um, and you have no idea how many people came up to me and said, "I'm so glad they gave you a job," or like, "It's so good to see you out and about." I'm like,
It's like
um,
it's not weird. We are out.
yeah,
We need
like,
to do
I'm a
our
human
stuff.
being. They didn't give me this job. I had to interview it for it like
Yeah.
anybody else, which was terrifying, by the way. But I loved my job. I miss my job. I miss my work family so much. Um, I wanted to stay at that job for the rest of my life, actually, which was why it was so devastating when I lost my job.
Yeah, it
Um,
should be.
I'm hoping that I make it through this so that I can get it back.
Yeah,
Um,
and maybe you
Mhm.
can live out on your own.
yeah,
Mhm.
I miss living alone. I mean,
Oh.
being where I am at my age, this place is pretty great,
Mhm.
but I really miss living alone. Like, I
Yeah.
love people, but at the end of the day, I want to be alone.
Yep.
And I lived alone before this. And
Yeah.
I had a cozy little 1 bedroom apartment. It was perfect. It was right down the street from my church. It was on a bus line. It was 15 minutes from my job. And oh, I miss it. I had to give up the apartment too. Um, I couldn't afford to keep it. So I had to give it up last, no, 2021. I lost the apartment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I miss it. Somebody
Yeah,
else
I
has
bet it
probably
was
snatched it
good.
by now, and I don't blame them. It's a great apartment.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah.
How do you feel society treats disabled people or people with disabilities?
It could be, I feel they see us as in one of two ways. They either see us as less than or as superheroes.
Mhm.
Like, that kind of plays into another reaction I would always get at work or like on my way to work, because a lot before my health started declining, which was actually about 5 years ago, my health started declining. People would come up to me on my way to work. I would take the bike path in my chair. I use the word walk when I don't literally mean walk. So if I say walk to work, it's not literal. But like
Yeah,
I
we
would walk to work on the
sometimes
bike
we
path,
say
and
walk
people would
when
say,
we been like rough.
exactly, and like it throws people off. So I felt like I need to explain that before I use the word walk. But like I would walk to work every day and I would walk home every night, and people would come up to me and say, "You're such an inspiration." I'm like, "I'm just going to work." Like,
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm living my life. Like, you have no idea. If I'm gonna inspire you, I want it to be for something that's actually difficult in my life. Like,
Mhm.
going to work is not difficult. Well, it wasn't.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just I I got so sick of being treated like a superhero just for living my life.
yeah,
Mhm.
I don't want to be seen as a superhero. I want to be seen as a normal woman.
yeah.
Like,
I
there is
think it's
so much power in I want to be seen as normal.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a normal woman. I just have a wheelchair.
Mm.
yeah.
Like,
Well said.
yeah.
Say it.
So
Why do you think it's important to raise awareness for people that with or without a disability?
and I think that plays into the last question too, like to normalize it.
Mhm.
Because to normalize it and to improve accessibility. Like, since I've gotten more plugged into the disability community, which I don't know why it took a health crisis for that to happen, but it's really shown me just how far we have to come still with accessibility. Like, I'm pretty spoiled here in Dayton with accessibility most of the time. And when there is an issue, I've got people to help me handle it. But the airplane issue, which I personally have never had, but I've seen stories of people that have had
Mhm.
it. Of course, I avoid flying at all costs when I can because I'm terrified of flying. But I have flown many times. And just so many other accessibility issues that have come to my attention.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It breaks my heart that we still have so much farther to go in 2023 when it comes to accessibility, and really just seeing us as normal human beings. Like, if we don't raise awareness, how are we going to normalize disability?
Mhm.
And that's all I want. Like, I had a friend a number of years ago who couldn't understand like why all I want is to be seen as normal. But and I love that friend. I don't know if he's gonna watch this, but you know who you are. I love you. um, but he's an able-bodied person. And so I don't think he sees why I want to be seen as normal.
yeah,
Because
Mhm.
I don't have that luxury. But it's just it's so empowering when people, it's not to say, I don't see your disability. Although, like, I remember like 10 years ago, my best friend and I went bowling, and he asked me what size shoe I needed, and I laughed in his face because
mm,
it showed me that he didn't see my disability. for him to think I needed bowling shoes. I'm like, I don't need shoes. I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Sometimes people don't see our disability
We've been best
until
friends.
we show them that we can do certain things.
Yeah.
But we try to.
And I'm like, I don't need bowling shoes. I need a bowling ramp.
Yeah.
We've been best friends for almost 13 years, and he's my favorite person in the entire world. And that was like probably in the very beginning of our friendship. But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna be mad at me for telling that story. I know he's going to watch this. So yeah, I love you, bestie.
That should be funny, learning your friend learning what you can and can't do, and trying
Yeah,
new adventures together.
yeah, that was a long time ago. But just I love like when I meet a new friend, like teaching them about my disability. Like, and one of the hidden blessings of this horrible season in my life has been I have made so many new friends, and like teach them about my disability and about like my new body. Like I have a stoma now, and although I'll be the first to admit I hate it, teaching people about it is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Even though I'm so frustrated with it.
we sometimes we don't know our true friends until we get until a
So
bad
true.
health
Oh
situation
my
or
word.
something.
I
Yeah,
have the best tribe. I have the best tribe. My people, I love my people. I am spoiled rotten.
Yes.
I really am. It's been but what another thing that's been really hard is like I've been cut off from my tribe a lot lately
Oh yeah.
because of what I'm going through. And now that it's winter, like
Yeah.
there's snow on the
That is
ground
the
here.
worst one.
Yeah. We had a blizzard yesterday, and actually I had a visitor that was going to come yesterday after church. And my aide said, honey, I don't think anybody's coming over because we got 7 inches of snow in the parking lot. I'm just like, are you kidding me? So she's coming this afternoon, but I'm like, I hate snow.
Yep.
I had my pastor moved away 3 years ago. I've not seen him in 3 years. And he was going to come see me at Christmas, and the snow prevented him from coming. Broke my heart. Broke my heart.
No.
Because he lives 2.5 hours away from me now.
Whoa.